Okay, what is the most corrupt thing going on in Nye County government, according to you, the voter? And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in a few minutes. A poll was done of voters in Pahrump. Got the results right here. Just about a week ago. This is about moving forward. This is about changing the culture of corruption in Nye County government. This is about understanding the perception. This is about getting clues from how people react who've been here, who answer polls like this. And I'm going to go back to this format, this audio-only format. I'm much more comfortable with this. And I'll be doing this for 4 years. I'll be letting you know what's going on with your county government. So make sure you subscribe here if you want to know. I will put these updates up on YouTube and Rumble. I'm thinking about MP3. I'm not sure because I do put things on the screen I want you to see. And I also want you to know, go to ianbain.com to sign up there. You're going to get emails also, probably once a month. I'm not going to share them with anyone. It's just going to go to you. I'm not going to share it to some campaign or anything else where they're asking for money or anything like that. I'm not going to ask you for money. So don't worry about that. Just information about what's going on with the commission and anything that's important for you to know. I will let you know once a month, maybe twice a month, probably once a month. The first thing you need to know, I won the Republican primary on June 11th, so thank you for everyone who supported me. I really, really thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I really do. And if anyone out there did not support me, I'm very serious about getting your support, because there's a lot to do here if we're going to clean up the culture of corruption. And I want to keep Pahrump with this same traditional values and Western culture that I talked about during the campaign. I mean that. I meant that. And moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. And I think everyone agrees with that. So just a quick update on the election. January, new commissioners, 3 new commissioners coming in January. John Koenig, me, and well, actually not 3, just me and John Koenig. 2 new commissioners coming in, sorry. Me and John Koenig, Bruce Jabbour rolling over into another term. All 3 of us won the Republican primary. So I want to get to the poll. No Mask Nevada did a poll of voters in Pahrump. Here are the results from July 10th through July 14th. So just a few days ago, this poll was closed, and I'm going to explain how it was done. It was done by phone, so there's no contact. There was no picking people to answer, nothing like that. Just completely random by phone. That's how it was done. And here it is. Question number 1. Do you think there is corruption in Nye County? And here's what you said. Yes, 69%. No, 0%. I'm not sure, 31%. Question 2. Did you know that 3 elected officials in Nye County have been found guilty of ethics violations since 2020? I've been talking about this for years. 40% of you have been listening. Yes, 40% of you know. 60%. And these are voters, too, by the way. These aren't just random people who don't vote. 60% of the voters do not know that there are 3 people who are convicted of ethics violations. So some people say, oh, there's no corruption. Or, did you know 3 people were convicted of ethics? I did not know that. 60% of you did not know that. So there's that. Let's go to question 3. Who is to blame for corruption in Nye County government? Staff, 0%. County manager, 20%. Commissioners, 57%, someone else, 13%, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't think there's corruption, 8%. And it's interesting that they said that, because 0% said no to thinking there's corruption. Hey, do you think there's corruption in the county? No, I don't think there's corruption. None of you said that. But now 8% said that. And I think it's because of the lack of answers. I think if there was an I'm not sure, that would be, but whatever. Don't focus on that. The commissioner to blame, 57%, kind of interesting, because the commissioners appoint the county manager. So that answer makes sense. It's the commissioner's fault for corruption ultimately. Even if you think it's the county manager, Tim Sutton, who, by the way, has presided over all of these things. He's presided over 3 ethics violations. He's presided over 2 federal indictments of a judge and a high-ranking sheriff deputy. He's the common denominator. He's been there the whole time, just so you know. And he's basically the mayor. I want to explain this because people don't understand the power of the county manager. The county manager runs the entire county. He negotiates contracts, handles employment, oversees absolutely everything. That's the system of government we have. It's not him that negotiated that. It's not commissioners. It's not Nye County. It's not even a Nevada thing. This is a form of government where it's called a county manager form of government. It's kind of, if you watch football, it's kind of like a 3-4 defense or a 4-3 defense. That's the system we have. The system we have is a county manager. And I don't want to get too fancy here. Some places will have a county chairman or a chairman of the commission or a chairman of the county board. And that person's the executive, and that person's kind of like the county manager. We don't have that here. We've got 5 equal commissioners who appoint and delegate to a county manager. So everything done in this county is overseen by County Manager Tim Sutton. Okay, so what is the best? Here's question 4. Best example of corruption. County Manager Tim Sutton having lifetime health insurance for himself and his entire family paid for by taxpayers, 37%. And I want to cut in very quickly here because I know you might be confused. This is a very strange thing. I've asked around, by the way, people I've known all over the country. Have you ever heard of somebody, county manager, getting lifetime health insurance? No was the answer. I got a few snickers. One person was a city councilor for 12 years in Massachusetts. They started laughing for some reason. So this is not something that's common, at least not with executives. And because I asked that question of a person who was formerly a city councilor in Massachusetts, I'm sure right now they're discussing doing that in Massachusetts. County Manager Tim Sutton, lifetime health insurance for himself and his dependents. So if he has 10 kids and his wife all get free health insurance. So that's it. Whether they get fired, whether he gets fired, whether he stays, whether he goes, whether he moves to Jamaica, whether he goes to prison, doesn't matter what happens to this guy. The way this is written, he gets lifetime health insurance. And I want to get back to the poll, but you need to understand what this means. I'm going to play very quickly for you from County Manager Tim Sutton's latest appearance. And he can constantly, he serves at the will of the county commissioners. Okay, so this was just an appearance where they were deciding whether they wanted to keep him as county manager. And here's what he said about this health insurance. And this is from KPVM.
This concession, and this I'm glad I had an opportunity to address this because I don't know if it's particularly evident in the proposed contract, but health, dental, and vision insurance after retirement. I currently have lifetime retirement benefit or medical post-retirement medical benefits. That is a huge expense to the county. It's something that was given out in the day for quite liberally, and we have just.
And let me break in here real quick. When he says back in the day, he means 2018. So this isn't something that happened in like the 1950s or something. And I want also for you to know that there are police, sheriff's deputies in Pahrump who get free health insurance for life. Same arrangement. I don't know if their spouses get it and their children. I don't know. And this is obviously you get health problems that may occur if you're rolling around in the grass with a homeless guy stabbing you in the face with a shank or something, and you're not really sure what kind of permanent damage there may be. So I'm not sure if that is the reason. For me, it makes sense for that. County Manager Tim Sutton makes $234,000, by the way. As of 2021, he makes more money now because he gets a raise every year. I don't get a raise every year, by the way. I don't know if you do, but he does. So I don't know what that would be. Maybe $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year, plus free health insurance for life. Okay, so let me do the question over. What is the best example of corruption? County Manager Tim Sutton having lifetime health insurance for him and his entire family paid for by you, the taxpayer, 37%. Ex-Commissioner Leo Blundo, current Republican Party chairman, running the Republican Party after being convicted of ethics charges and having a criminal defendant position in 3 trials all since 2020. Same number, 37%. Risk Manager Jacob Skinner's job being dissolved by commissioners. There was a vote a month ago. But County Manager Tim Sutton keeping his job anyway. So commissioners voted to eliminate that position. Position's still there. 5% of you think that's the best example of corruption. And the last one, refusing to release arrest records to the public, 20%. And the arrest records is because the county is refusing to release arrest records and denying public records requests. Still goes on to this day. Okay, next question. Do you support candidates for office who want to stop corruption? Yes. 96% no, 0%, sometimes 4%. That's a pretty strong message. Probably doesn't need an explanation. And the last question is, do you think taxpayer money is being stolen by either elected officials or other officials in county government? Yes, 53%. No, 2%. I'm not sure. I don't know, 44%. So that is 50, so 90, 97% of Pahrump voters think there's a possibility that taxpayer money is being stolen by someone in government. Because either they don't know, not sure, or yes, they believe so. And a question like this is very provocative. I understand that. And I'm not trying to be provocative, but I want to share this with you because this is the perception of our government. And I want to share also with you because I was thinking about this and I thought, why would someone draw this conclusion? Why would an informed person, and I don't know if these people are informed who took this poll, by the way. I have absolutely no idea. It's completely random. I don't know who they are. I will never know who they are. So I don't know if they're informed. But I thought to myself, let's assume maybe there was an informed reason to think other than just something fabricated. What could be the cause? What could be the reason that someone might think that there is money being stolen? Because I always look at it that way. I always try to give the benefit of the doubt to the person being, under the microscope. And so here is a video I'm going to share you. It's a last commission meeting. This is July 16th. And it's a quick clip, and it's one of the staff, administrative person under the county manager, Tim Sutton's control, explaining money that was missing until an audit was done. So let's watch that.
This was a 23 budgeted item that did not happen. We didn't catch it in time before 23 was closed and the audit report was issued. And so, but we still need to do this because not doing it has resulted in a cash deficit in the GAB Special Projects Fund. So we already made one transfer that was scheduled for $50,000, but it's not enough because we were supposed to have made the $100,000 transfer into the GAB Special Projects Fund for 23. And since it was budgeted for, however, the cash just didn't happen. So now we're...
Okay, I want to just pause this real quick. I don't really understand, I don't know if that's a professional term, the cash didn't happen. I really don't understand the explanation for trying to send. So they tried to send $100,000. It was scheduled. It was said it was scheduled, but only $50,000 went in. Okay. Sometimes the cash just doesn't happen. And after an audit, it was found. I'm going to play the rest of it. After an audit, this is found out. And if we ever have an out of balance situation where records show $1 amount, right, and the cash is less, that's a big problem. Even if it's just missing, because what happens is now we have an unreliable system that can be exploited by bad people or clumsy people or stupid people or whatever. And this person is saying that this just sometimes happens. And I'm not a financial expert. I did manage to scrape up enough intelligence to run a business for 20 years and graduate law school and pass the bar exam on the first try. So I like to think I'm at least of average intelligence. And so when someone tells me something like this, the problem is, even if it was some kind of accounting mistake and the numbers are all right underneath the mistake, the reporting mistake, we've now fraudulently reported, which is a misrepresentation. Intentional or unintentional, doesn't matter. It's still a misrepresentation. Could be a crime depending on what it is. I'm not saying anyone's breaking the law. I'm just saying that's a misrepresentation. And even if it's not to the point of a misrepresentation, but a mistake, whatever the difference is by law, which I don't know, the potential for fraud is very, very high. And virtually impossible to figure out where money is if you don't really know where it is. Right? It's hard to clean up the government if you have no idea where the money is. And this is what I fear about this government. Whenever you have missing money in a ledger, the possibility it could be not found out ever is pretty high. Where does it go? I don't know. And someone who's watching this who's never spent any time in a business operation still knows that someone would be in big trouble if an error like this, where cash is missing, was discovered. You can't just lose money in business. So it is puzzling to me. This is sort of routine. It's a culture. Hey, sometimes this happens. And that's not a very good answer to me. I don't like that. Oh, just sometimes we lose money. We scheduled we scheduled 100,000 and only 50,000 came out. And well, it's okay because just sometimes this happens. And this is what I talk about when I say we have a culture of corruption here. It should never happen. That's just not acceptable. Let me listen to the rest of this.
Matching up the cash to the budgetary ledger. So I call it ledger because those two can operate independently, and sometimes we do have an out of balance situation where our budget will say one thing and then our cash will not necessarily match it for our fund balance. And we tend to catch this during audit or when we monitor our cash, and we have to monitor and tighten up our controls so that we can detect these sooner and make the transfers as scheduled on our budget. There's a transfer schedule called Schedule T on our.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just the FBI indicting 2 high-ranking Nye County government officials in the last year, which happened, or the 3 elected officials who were found guilty of ethics charges in the last 3 years, which happened. It's things like this. Culture of corruption. What is the culture of corruption? Oh, I don't see corruption here. Well, what's this? Not accurately reporting where the money is and saying, well, that just happens sometimes. Sometimes you got to audit it, and then you find out there was a mistake, and you just change it. Hey, it's no big deal. Decisions are made based on where that money is. If the money's gone or lost or moved one to the other, or more importantly, if you schedule a transaction for 100,000 and only 50,000 comes through, there's a problem with the transaction facilitator. I don't even know what that means. That's very strange. Maybe just go back to a check, or someone writes a check, you Xerox a check and put it up online. I don't know. So that is the entire poll. That is your Nye County government. 4 years. I will be updating you. I look forward to serving you as one of your commissioners in January. I really do. And until then, please sign up at ianbain.com to get updates on government, and we'll talk again very soon. Thank you. I'm Ian Bain, and I authorize this message.